Good evening, everyone. How are you guys? Gabs here, Digital B Stream. What's in the glass? Good evening, good afternoon. It depends. Sometimes better say just evening. Welcome to the Digital B Stream. My name is Gabs. I'm working in the beer industry from around 10 years or something like that, and I'm based in London. That's why I'm deeply love the craft beer scene in this city. And has been the first job that I did when I was, started to have this beautiful adventure in the city of London. And I'm always trying to connect with the beer community, try to find new ways, try to find best ways to, be in touch within each other. Reason is because this is one of the most beautiful industry you can work for. If you like beer, if you like people, if you like to go around and have fun, making great things to happen, this is a perfect opportunity, perfect industry. So I absolutely, I recommend it to everyone that does have these kind of interesting characteristics. And What's in the Glass is a journey that was started back in the summer of 2020, last year. I had a lot of time to spend, and I thought that the best way to spend this time was to create a platform. Social platform, communication platform, call it whatever you want. Through What's in the Glass, we did a different kind of projects. We started with the Digital Beer Stream, what you're exactly watching right now. And the Digital Beer Stream is a digital broadcasting exclusive show where we try to feature the best of the UK beer industry, from London, from the UK itself, maybe Europe, maybe the world, who knows? We did a couple of shows with people from other parts of the world. And there is another project as well called Turning the Tide. And this project is a bit more focused on pubs. It's going to be released on the 1st of April on the YouTube. If you're watching from YouTube, that's the place where it's going to be out. And it's an exploration about the transformation of the London culture, drinking culture, basically. And I recommend everyone to put an eye on it. And I always very curious to meet new people, meet new breweries, and I had a chance to get to know about Pretty Decent, and I was very excited to find out that there are breweries been popping up in so many different parts of the city. And when I saw as well the logo, when I saw all the beers and the guys are doing, I was so fascinated about it. And one very important other reason about this project is the fact that they are really doing well, and they're really working for the good of our community, our words. And we're gonna find out why exactly with Audrey. And she was really happy to jump on the live stream when I first asked her. So it'd be very interesting to hear more about this project, which is based in the east of London, but maybe not the east of London than you're most familiar of if you're going out in Shoreditch in areas like that. So please, if you can, welcome Audrey with me. Hey!
Hi!
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Gabs?
Very good, very good. Thanks, Audrey, for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Lovely. I know there is interest about hearing a bit more about what you're doing, guys. And as I said, I just didn't do my exploration works and good enough. And sometimes I find out that there are beautiful breweries and doing incredible things probably on my doorstep. And here we are.
Here we are.
Wow.
I find out something new every day.
In the city of London, absolutely, for sure. Yeah. And and even within the community, the people are, they supporting the breweries. Then probably they like the most because they know someone already within the brewery itself. So you need to go out there and scrap a bit and doing a bit of work. And I'm really would love to start with letting you saying a bit more about yourself and the brewery you're working for, and a bit of your background as well, if you don't mind, please. And
yeah.
Actually, I forgot to say, I'm actually drinking your table beer, which I found out probably is it's not gonna how can I say, it's a beer that has been went very well, and this is probably one of the last example I can find around. So
yes, I think you got lucky.
Are you drinking as well? You having a Pretty Decent beer as well?
Yes, I've got a Citra Pale Ale. Lovely. We've also sold out of this in the shop, so I've got one of the last of them from one of our local shops that we sell into. So really
Nice.
excited about that. It's one of my favorites that we've done so far. So I'm
Ooh,
glad to be
interesting.
drinking it again.
Lovely. Well, shall we do a virtual cheers?
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, everyone. I hope you have a beer with us as well, guys. Hmm. Oh yeah, I love the fact that it does have bitterness
Yeah.
and it does have character and good level of hop. I like table beers. It's perfect beer for don't make me have a wrong evening. So I'm so happy. And just before anything, we're gonna speak about why you're having these kinds of logos on your beers, because this is a very interesting fact. But without ruining that, please, Audrey, could you tell us a bit more about yourself and the brewery, please?
Yeah, so I myself am originally from California, in the States. So I have come a long ways to get here. Played football, American soccer at uni. So I've been involved in that for a long time. And then that's how I got the opportunity to come here, is to get my master's and play football for my uni here. And so I've been doing that. Obviously, the pandemic has changed that a little bit slightly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been doing that. And then I came here to get my master's in psychology. And I found the brewery from some locals, and they set me up with an interview with everyone. And so I was lucky enough to find pretty decent. And a little bit about what we do is we have made it from the get-go. The point of every sale goes to charity. A little bit of every sale goes to charity, and to make the world a better place. That we wanted to start a business that you could leave the world in a better place than when we started it. So that's our doing a little bit as we can do for the community around us. We've done international things, international charities, and also local. From the recent pandemic, we've tried to do food banks, and we're donating to Soulless Women's Aid this month to help women in need, which is really exciting for International Women's Month and everything like that. So that's a little bit about us and what we do. But yeah.
Well, you were telling me before about as well, like how important it is to be surrounded by a community that support you, and then you're capable to support as well. Because as I was saying before, you're based in Forest Gate, which is East London, maybe a bit further than like postcode is E. Can you remind me?
E7.
E7. So it's where things are very interesting, because everything is not as much as in the face like in the East End, but things are a bit more like interesting to discover, right?
Right. Yeah. So we are in E7, and we're located in Forest Gate, and we have found the greatest support from our local community that we could ever ask for. I don't think we would have gotten through the pandemic without them. So it's really great. These people are not only it's not a transactional sale. They're our friends. They're people that we know on a personal basis, and that's really important to us. And we're able to bring it. The pandemic brought us closer to our customers, and getting to know them, and we were really focused on how do we maintain what customers want, what they want to see out of us, what beer they want to drink, and things like that. And it's really important to us to make sure we tailor to our customers' needs, because it's so important to us. And like I said, we couldn't have done it without them, and without the
Absolutely.
continued support from every single one of them.
It's an incredible story, your one, a pretty decent, and just to try to understand a bit better how does it work, because maybe there are other breweries in here which could be inspired, or maybe different type of businesses that can understand how that actually does work. And so basically you're creating a beer and you associate that beer to a specific charity that does deal with a specific matter. Is it how it works?
So essentially what we do is each month we decide which charity we're going to donate to that month. And then part of the sales go into that fund to donate to them at the end of the month. And so, like this month is Solace. And then previous months we've done food banks. We did a local food drive. So customers came in and brought us food donations. And that was really exciting to see some of the customers get involved in that and really take ownership of the community that we have surrounding us. And so we really want to give back as much as we can. And so we decide every month what we're going to do. And some of that's local. Most of it has been local because of the pandemic. We want to support locally.
Yep.
And then we have done international people as well. So it's really important to us. Obviously, like that's the core of our business, is giving back and giving to charity and making the world a better place.
And it's not just about the cans and the bottles, because I was checking as well then through all the different type of formats that you can create in your beer into, could be sometimes cask, keg, bottles, cans. All of these beers are going to make an impact in terms of some of these funds that are going to different charities, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we all of the beers, all of the sales, not all of the sales, sorry. We have a portion of every sale that goes to a different charity or the charity of that month. And so it's really important
Nice.
so that we do that every month. And we've seen the impact that it's made, and it's done well. So we continue to do that. The point of the business was to leave the world in a better place than we started it. And so we're able to do that every day from day one that we started this company. And so we're really excited and fortunate that we've been able to get this far. Our fourth birthday is this month. So I think it was actually this past Saturday. So we've made it pretty far. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. And you also have like your home, the brewery, but also the tap room is present in the area, right? In Forest Gate.
Yeah, so it's actually in the same place at the moment. We are looking to open a new tap room, but there's more details to come on that. We're really excited about it, and what we're going to try and make an impact on the local community, give people jobs that are in need, that need jobs, and make the world a better place, honestly. We're just trying to make an impact on the community that's close to us, that's helped us so much in what we do every day. So that's our main goal.
And you told me before that it's 5 of you into the team, and there is the production side, and then there are other roles as well. May I make you remind me what is actually your role into the brewery?
Yeah, so my role, I'm on the production team. I joined the production team in January. I've only been at the brewery 6 months, so it's been a learning curve, but just been thrown into everything, and I've learned so much in the past even 3-4 months that I never knew even existed in the beer industry. So it's really exciting.
How many brewing books you have? Like, do you have like all the tasting beer, making beer books at home?
You know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you, Gabs. I have absolutely 0 books. So
no. Wow. Okay. I tell you this. If you're capable to make beer and you still have to jump on some of these kind of interesting books, when you're going to jump on a book, you're going to be like, wow, what is going on in here?
It's going to be a whole new world.
Interesting.
I just try and stick to what I learn at the brewery, and everything else. Like when I developed the kiwi and lime recipe, I did research online. I did it all online, and I know I definitely need to get into some books, but I haven't gotten my hands on any yet. But that's soon to come.
We've all been busy in a way or another. You already know the practice. The theory comes after. So
exactly.
It's all good. And you also spent good words before about the design that you have, because as a person which is going in bottle shops and in places and watching all the time the pump clips in a pub, I've been very honest with you. This is really catchy, so fresh and so like vibrant.
Right. Yeah, we try and keep it simple so people know what they're drinking by the names of the beer. We don't want to overcomplicate it, but we also want to make it catchy and poppy, and like this color pops, but we have a bunch of other colors that we're working on. So it's really exciting. Eventually we're going to run out of colors to choose from, honestly.
Oh man. Oh well, okay, interesting. That's interesting. I think I see most of the cans in pretty much in the same color all the time.
Right.
There was a massive use of acid green and kind of acid purple lately, but I really much more to have something mellow that really make me feel just fresh. That's all I'm
Right.
looking for.
That's all
And
you can ask for.
yeah. And you know, you were telling me about as well, that you came over from a specific part of the world, which is California. And may I ask you if you were already like a craft beer enthusiast over there, or if you get to know the beer culture, the pub culture from there?
Yeah, so my main inspiration from beer was when I studied abroad in Dublin, Ireland, when I was in uni, and that's how my love for beer really grew. I tried to try as many beers as I possibly could whilst I was in Ireland. And so that was really exciting for me, and that kind of like kicked off everything about beer. And then I was like, oh, my dream one day is to open a tap room and open a brewery, and this is really what I want to do. It's what I'm passionate about. And but yeah, I've always loved beer, honestly, and I just loved craft beer because you're supporting locally, and you're supporting these businesses that really make an impact on the world around us. Not necessarily even just by having to give to charity, but by going to these breweries, you're meeting people. It's not just about the beer that they're creating, like you said. It's about the people that you meet and the experiences you have in these places, and that's really important to us. And that's
Absolutely.
really important to me when I go and enjoy beer. You go for the experience. You come back for the experience. You don't just go for the beer.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's totally it's you know, craft beer as a phenomenon. I think even in the US always started around community, and people were meeting each other in places where the beer was made, where the beer was consumed. So I totally understand, 100% see that. And as a Californian person, what do you think about London in terms of the vibe? Is your home now? So I'm not expecting to hear such a culture clash. But how was it at the beginning? How did you feel about here? Not
Well,
necessarily about being, general.
yeah, honestly, I moved here last January, right before the pandemic happened, and little did I know what I was getting into. I moved here on a whim, honestly, to get my master's in psychology, and then all of a sudden it was lockdown and I couldn't do anything, and I was alone in my flat. And there were some times where it wasn't always easy, but I focused and I tried to get my head right, and crack down on my studies and things like that, and focus on really resetting myself and figuring out what's important. And what's important to me is doing something that I'm passionate about, and I've found that here, luckily, and it's been so amazing. I can't even tell you the amount of things that I've been able to do and learn and just take in. Like, I feel extremely, extremely grateful for my time that I've had here in London, and it's very different than I expected, but all in good ways. I can't say enough good things about London and the people that I've met. Like I said earlier, the reason I got my job is because I met some locals at a pub, and they decided that, you know what, this is a good fit. So they got us to meet, and it was perfect. And I've been so happy ever since. I found pretty decent, and it's been truly amazing.
Do you have, like some desires, some pubs that you want to visit, some kind of products that you want to try? Is there a brewery you would love to go for and tasting their beers in their tap room? Because can't really do it now. So, like,
Yeah,
what
definitely. I want to try as many breweries as I can. I've only been able to go to a few since before the pandemic and everything closed down. So I'm really excited to get to try just as many as possible. I want to try Wild Card, especially because you're supporting women in the beer industry there, and I love the beer that they do, the sours that they do. I'm a big sour fan, so I just really want to try as many as I can, just because being in the beer industry here, you want to support as many breweries as you can, and I don't want to limit it to just one. I want to limit it to as many as I can physically go to once our lockdown is lifted. So.
I'm sure you're going to have beautiful occasions, especially
Yeah.
in London. Like, all the breweries normally try to meet each other for some kind of, like periodical meetings. There is one from the London Breweries Alliance, and you're going visiting a different tap room or a different brewery all the time for every single different meeting. And then you're meeting all the 130 different people from all of these breweries
Right.
that is where collaborations are starting. Maybe like you find your someone you want to work with, or maybe someone that you met in your place. And then
Right.
I always love this fact that in the UK there has always been like a structure around beer, and that could be replicated for the craft beer beat as well. And I mean, I'm just watching right now on my column of comments, and you can see as well, there is an incredible amount of women, which I can also call friend.
Yes.
And did you expect to find all of these women working in the beer industry in London, in the UK, or it was a sort of surprise given, like the prevalence of men, or traditionally associated to this word?
Right. I mean, I think it's like you said, traditionally, when you think of beer and the brewing industry, you think of men. And I really started consuming craft beer when I lived in Austin, Texas. And there's so many local breweries and craft breweries there. And I was able to, one of my favorite breweries had women working there. Almost every time I went in there, there were women there. And that was really inspiring to me, because it was like, oh, I can do this. But also, I am really, really intrigued and honored to be one of the women in the beer industry in London, and seeing all of us come together on International Women's Day. International Women's Collaboration Brew Day was really exciting, and I was able to meet some awesome people from that. And it's just really good to see like the highlighting of women in the beer industry here. And I've been like overly enthused by the amount of people that have reached out to me and taken interest, and really, really like kind of taken my back on their shoulders and everything like that. It's been really awesome.
Wow. Okay. I've been a bit disappointed to hear then some colleagues within the industry, especially women, perhaps, were a bit anxious from the fact that maybe they were going to go back to a pub and potentially, meet again some of the not of the nicest people they used to meet, especially on a Friday night, especially
Right.
in the east of London, which is all about party and get crazy. And like, I'm always trying to understand why people are not polite and why people are not nice in general. And I'm thinking, like, when you have projects like this, when you have people like you, when there is so much focus on the good things, make it happen, here with an enthusiasm and things, why the hell people are not behaving well in a pub and or around in general? Do you have an explanation for that? Just like mentality?
Yeah, I honestly think the mentality plays a huge role in that, unfortunately. It's just, culturally, I think it's something that has been going on for so long that you can't really date back to. And that's really disappointing to see and disappointing to hear. But you know what? The women that are in the brewing industry now are extremely strong and extremely diligent and hardworking, and we're going to do our best to prove those people wrong. And that's just a little bit more motivation that gives us, the kick in the butt that we need.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, I mean, this month I was amazed. I couldn't believe so much was going on, and I like, again. I'm very close with Natasha from the Crafty Biggers, and she always, gave me this beautiful insight about what is going on beer wise in the world from from a women point of view. So that's brilliant. And something that I think I wanted to ask you as well is, you say about you have few plans with Pretty Decent about a potential tap room. You have, I'm sure, new beer releases. Is there anything that you release in these next days, in these next weeks, beer wise?
Yeah, so this week we're actually releasing a New England IPA that will be canning tomorrow. I'll be there canning on the canning line tomorrow.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. Not quite, but pretty much. But yeah, so we're releasing that this week, and then next week is our International Women's Day brew, the Kiwi and Lime Sour, which received a lot of awesome feedback for. So we're really excited to see how that finalizes and turns out. And then we have our session IPA that we're bringing back. So that's one of our most popular core beers that we try to keep in stock pretty often, and that's coming back. So those are all three coming out next week and this week. So stay tuned.
And I have to say that the design that I saw for the sour is just absolutely stunning. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. It was truly a collaboration of women. It was myself, Nana, our designer, and then Sarah, who's the co-founder. So we can't do it without all of us, you know?
Yeah. And may I ask you if during all of this period you managed to, doing some kind of new things, like have you been doing subscriptions or like boxes or like online tastings or anything like that at all?
Yeah, we do all of that. So we have our subscriptions that we do. You can either do a 12-pack subscription or a 24K subscription. And then we do private online tastings. So we have an online tasting actually in 2 days on Thursday with a private group of 17 people that are keen to try all of our beers. And so,
wow.
we try and do that as much as possible. And that's a good way for us to get to know our clientele and our customers and really hone in on get more feedback as to what they want to see from us and then what we can do to help them in the future. And then they have a chance to get to know us personally as well, which is also a great experience. I think if you're a customer, you want to get to know the people that you're buying beer from, and you want to know them on a personal basis, not just a transactional basis.
Absolutely. And do you think, in a way, all of that we're doing right now, believing that this digital cloud will never end and it's never going to be, out of date, is actually going to be out of date once the world is fixed? Or do you think somehow there's going to be a chance and opportunity for digital adventures like this one to keep staying and having a place within the internet? How do you see that?
I think that there's plenty of room for more internet space and streaming capabilities and things like that. People are always so consumed by what's going on around them on the internet and on their phone and social media and things like that. And I think that this is a great way to do that. And you're getting people from all over the world in one place, and you're still communicating. And especially with this pandemic, like this is the only way we can interact right now. And it's really unfortunate that we can't see each other in person. But at the same time, like you're giving people that wouldn't, like people in America that are on this call in the States, and they wouldn't necessarily have known about this had we not been in the position that we're in. And so I think there's a lot of room for improvement and for growth in this area. And I think that you're right on track with it, to be honest.
It's good to hear. And do you think, are there any sorts of California now watching us and listening us in live?
Yeah, I've got some family in Texas and California watching, so that's pretty exciting.
Well, if anyone is curious to hear where my accent is coming from, I'm originally Italian, but then I moved 8 years ago in the city of London, and that's why there is this kind of a very unusual mix of British and somehow something different. Did you like? I realized then it was coming from South Europe, my accent, or you were completely unaware of it?
Your accent, I figured it was Italian, but I didn't want to say anything.
It's all right.
I didn't want to guess and then be wrong. So.
Oh man, I met incredible American people in London, and I love to hear sometimes comments like, "Oh, so you actually are Italian?" And I was like, "Yeah." Oh, it's not that your family came from Italy to here and then you are second, third generation. It's like, no, I was born there. I lived there 25 years. Then I moved here. And they were like, oh, that's so interesting. I was just like, why is that? And then I realized because you in the US, you get to know many people that does have some Italian heritage.
Right.
But they've never probably been in Italy before. So I understand that. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And what is the situation right now at the moment? It's like US pubs and US bars and tap rooms able to somehow be open and sell to customers? Are you aware of anything of that?
Yeah, so in Texas, actually, where most of my family is, it's fully reopened, 100% capacity in places, and it's really interesting. I don't really know how I feel about it.
Mm.
Me, I would not feel comfortable going in that. But you know what? I don't know. I don't know what to say about all of that going on in Texas with no mask mandates and things like that. I wouldn't
Oh,
feel comfortable.
really?
Yeah, so they've removed the mask mandate. So, but a lot of local businesses have stepped up and made it their own responsibility to get people to wear masks. So they're doing what they can. And the government isn't necessarily doing the best. That's all I'm going to say on that. Yeah.
Yep. Well, hey, again, I got that. I got that.
Yeah.
Do you have any Californian craft breweries that you really would like to just give you a big shout so all of us big geeks can go and do their homework?
Yeah, I really like Ballast Point Brewery in California. But for more local, I would go to Austin, Texas, and go to Zilker Brewing Company in Austin. They're one of my favorite tap rooms and always have been.
I would like to just reply to Robert Silva, just tell him, actually, Robert, you're right. I'm coming from one of the most famous wine area in the world, in the world, in Tuscany, in an area called Bolgheri. And there are bottles of wines made, I'm not even joking, 10 minutes by car from where I live there, then we not even know how they taste because they're going straight to the Chinese market for thousands of pounds. But I had to drink when I was 15. I didn't know where to go. and then, you know, like when you are 15, and there are sometimes pubs that don't really check your ID there, and they were serving beer. So, you know, that's how it started.
You got to do what you can do at that age.
Yeah. And you know, something interesting. And is there any beer style that you would like to really see over here from California? I do have one in mind, which is California Common or Steam beer. And
yeah,
are you gonna make one day in London, please?
I don't know. Maybe I'll have to give that a shot. Maybe on my next beer venture, I'll give that a shot. But you know, I don't really. I think every beer that I've had in London has been comparable in sense of style to beer that I've had in the States, where you know your hazy IPAs and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I love sours, and I would love to see more refined sours out of some breweries here locally, and more natural and organic type sours really intrigue me. And one of my favorite breweries also in Austin is Jester King Brewery. And they have fantastic sours, and they're just really funky and wild and fresh and something that you don't necessarily get here all the time. So I'd love to see a little bit more of that here. That would be exciting to me.
They newsletter is one of the few I can't really delete before reading everything about.
Right.
And it's insane what they're doing. So for everyone that doesn't know, Jester Kings could be considered one of the breweries that have probably defined, if not revitalized, the term American wild beer or wild ale, I think. And I love the fact that in their tap room as well, they're doing so many crazy fermented type of food, pizza, bread. It's just like crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Have you been to the tap room?
Yes, many times. One of my favorite places.
Oh, wow. You know, this is incredible. I think the fascinations that there is in London, because I met people fascinating about California in general.
Yeah.
But even in Italy, like we always had this kind of sense of the pure level of being free and wild is there. So
yes, definitely.
One day we had to do it. And
yes.
I'm always keeping this question almost at the end because it's the most intense in terms of depth and sometimes even like an emotional state. And is if you can see a future of the drinking hospitality industry, we can say London, we can say the UK, but you can speak internationally as well because you can do it. What would you say?
I think after this past year, it's really hard to say, you know, what one thing breweries and the brewing industry and the beverage industry can focus on. But I think it's just catering to what your customers want and figuring out that and honing in on that, because at the end of the day, those are the people that support you. Those are the people that come back and put their money into you and into the business, and they really want to see you do what brings them joy and happiness, and the reason that they keep coming back to you. And I would say just be able to handle adversity, because you don't know what's going to happen next. Nobody does. We don't know. We know that the lockdown is going to be lifted, that there is an end in sight, but we don't know what can change after that. And you have to be able to handle anything with a chip on your shoulder, and just keep going, and just keep reminding ourselves, like, this is why we do what we do, because we want these customers to be happy, and we want them to be able to consume something that they enjoy, and think about the good times and the bad times that they've gone through to get to where they are today. And I think that's really important.
Absolutely. Is it really hard to do beer and in the same time helping the world? And why do you think sometimes, this is not becoming the norm for businesses? Because you 5 guys, you went into this journey from how many? 4, 5 years now? You say 4 before, right? Your birthday,
right.
4th.
Mm-hmm.
Why is not that easy to think, I'm going to make beer, I'm going to make bread, I'm going to make anything else, and in the same time try to save the world?
I think not everyone has the compassionate mindset that, James had when he founded the brewery, and not everyone has that mindset. And you hope that people would, and you hope that they would want to make the world a better place than when they started it, when they open up a business. But in reality, we all know that that's not how everyone is, and we can hope that, but that's just not how it is. And if there's people that can do that one by one, eventually it'll start making a difference, and it'll start making an impact on the industries that we have around us. And I think one by one, if we can do that, and we can inspire people and local businesses and local customers even, then that's all we can really ask for, honestly, Gabs.
I know you love football. I know you love what you're studying at uni, and that you love beer, you love this, but you're really a good spoken person, and you really should think about moving people on these matters as well. I hope for you, more people are going to listen, but definitely tonight there have been people listening you, and I'm sure they're going to think tonight, actually, this is interesting. I can do something pretty decent out there, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, well, I think I enjoy so much to talk with you. You have answers that are really, really valid on everything we spoke about. I'm very interested to know about your journey to come to visit you at the taproom at the brewery, and to hear more about what you're doing. So thank you very much for being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been awesome to get to know you and chat with you a little bit more.
Nice. And I as I said, guys, please support this kind of projects. This is what is really matter. And you see, when I'm talking about very nice people and very motivated people that make the difference, you met one tonight. So I hope all of you are going to have a beautiful evening. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Pretty Decent. And
thank you so much. Can't wait to have you in the new tap room.
Yeah, it's happening. Oh, bye-bye, guys. Enjoy your rest of the evening. Drink good beer and be nice and with everyone, and be pretty decent. Sorry if I say it one more time, but I love it so much. I can say it tonight, Bye.
Bye.